trenches where it's vicious, but it's glorious.
Starstruck Podcast, back at it once again. I'm your host, Carlos Knox, and today I got one of my main men from my hometown, Dayton, Ohio, and an introduction wouldn't even be the right way to put it. This is my guy, man. He's been with me for a long time. I've been with him for a long time. High school teammates, high school colleagues, whatever you want to call it, but one of the best to ever do it. This guy was in 1998. They won the national championship at Tennessee. He got the famous 79-yard TD. He ended up playing 9 seasons in the NFL. And again, one of the greatest guys on the football field, but even a better human being. Mr. Peerless Price, DYT. What's up, Pete?
What's up, family? What's up, family? I got to get you to do all my introductions.
Well, I'm sure I left a whole lot out, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. We family.
No doubt about it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how you doing, man? How you doing? Where you at? What's going on with you?
Man, I'm doing great. No complaints. I live in Atlanta. Live on a golf course, so I golf a few 2 to 3, 4 times a week.
Yes, sir.
And you know, a couple business ventures I'm invested in, and then I got a daughter playing collegiate soccer. She's also with the U.S. national youth team, and so that takes a lot of my time trying to get back and forth to all her games. And she actually won a national title her freshman year, so we got another national champion in the house.
Yes, sir.
At Florida State. Yeah.
At Florida State. Yeah.
Yep.
I watched her too, man. She is a dog on the field. I love to watch her.
Yeah, she's a good. I never told her this, but I wanted her to play basketball because I trained her up and coached her all the way through. But you know, she chose soccer, and I think it was an easy choice once she started getting called into the national teams, and so it made her decision a little easier to go the soccer route. And she's been blessed, man, and I've been around for her journey.
For sure, man. Hey, you know what? Proud papa moment. I see the smile on your face because I'd be the same way with mine. So I understand exactly what you're saying, man. That's cool. Well, listen, I wanted to bring you on today, man. Honestly, we just, we bring a lot of cats on from all different sports, all different walks of life. And one of the biggest things that people that are visiting our platform are, encouraged and just equipped with is people of your stature that have accomplished a lot in life, accomplished a lot in the athletic world. And I just like to give them the blueprint. I like to let them know exactly what it is and how it is. I mean, we can talk all day about us at Meadowdale and how we came up and what we've done. Yeah, but I want to start from the beginning. I want to start from the Peerless Price book at the first page of it. How did you fall in love with it? Athletics, football, basketball.
As a former athlete and coach, I understand how important it is to take care of your body. Training to compete at a high level can often deplete your body of the minerals it needs to rebuild muscle, tendons, and ligaments. But don't worry, because I have the cheat code for recovery. H3 Energetic CMOS. My wife and I both take it every day, and it gives us a boost of energy while also helping with those unexpected aches and pains. Look, don't get struck. Go to h3energetics.com today and grab your container of CMOS. Use the discount code ASTARSTRUCK and get one of my favorite flavors, the Mixed Berry Blast, for 10% of the regular price.
Honestly, I fell in love with it, man. This is going to sound crazy, but you kind of led into it right there. I fell in love with athletics, man, by watching Michael Jordan. I mean, I could recite every word to "Come Fly With Me." When the guy said, "Look out, here comes Mr. Jordan," and so yeah, man. And they were saying he's more talking about Akeem Olajuwon. They call him the Dream, and they said Michael Jordan was more dream than nightmare.
Yeah,
and he soared higher than a bird. Like I was locked, like I was locked in, and I tell people all the time that, you know, when I look back on my athletic career, it literally started by just being I don't even want to say a fan. I mean, a maniac for Michael Jordan and trying to be him.
Of course.
And so I didn't even start playing football. Like, I thought I was at a young age. You couldn't tell me I wasn't going to the NBA.
Absolutely.
And so I fell in love with basketball, and then football just kind of happened organically because I ran track in middle school, and then Coach Sidney Booker, another Dayton legend. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Another Dayton legend. Coach Book, you know, he asked me to play football because he was a track coach. And I was in like the 8th grade. And I was like, why not? You know, I liked football. You know, I was a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, those were my guys. Even before that, Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, Danny White, the quarterback. Go back to Roger Staubach, Tom Landry on the sideline with the fedora on. Yeah. So I was always just a fan of football, but I never really had played organized football. And so, man, I played, and it was honestly, it was naturally easy. And I guess because when I look back now, just because I guess I was just blessed athletically.
Yes.
You know, yeah. I mean, he just put me on a sweep, and he tossed it to me left or right, and I'm just outrunning everybody. I didn't even got to make a move. It was just, and and I actually then I fell in love with football then too, and then he moved me to quarterback, and I'm being an option quarterback. Really couldn't throw a lick. Didn't even care to read the defense. I was just back there because the quarterback, you know, he got his hands on the ball every possession, and it made it easier for me to have the ball.
For sure.
And so football just took off. And I always ran track too, but I never liked track. Like I couldn't comprehend, you know, I was a sprinter. I'm running the 100, the 200, the 4x1. And we going to practice, and these jokers is telling the sprinters to to warm up with a mile. Yeah. And I'm like, about that life. I'm about going out here dusting somebody real quick and, 10 seconds, 22 seconds. But I'm like, so, you had to run it, and so I never really cared for track. And I think, but I always felt like it helped, and it was just something else to do in the spring season because basketball's in the winter, football's in the fall. And so once I got to high school, I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna do all three for as long as I can. And still, once I got to high school, I saw guys like you. I saw Tutu Brown.
No doubt.
And I'm like, yo, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do that. And
absolutely.
So it wasn't really until I ain't gonna lie to you. I remember Coach Ward coming to me my senior year, and I'm basically committed. I'm like, I'm gonna play football in college, and he like, Ohio State and University of Dayton, they want you in basketball.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally like, my final five for football are Tennessee, Michigan, Notre Dame, Florida, and Ohio State. Coach Ward, he like, Ohio State will let you do both, and University of Dayton, they won't give you a full ride for basketball. And it's just something in the back of my head just told me literally that if I'm gonna do basketball, take the football route, because everybody in the country was recruiting me for football, and it was more like regional schools and smaller schools for basketball.
Absolutely.
And so I was just like, even if I'm going to try to play basketball in college, I am definitely going to take the football route and then, see if I can play basketball as well.
Did you what was it like talking to Masters, Pat? I mean, what was his take on it? What was his feel?
So Coach Masters is he knows this because I talked to him. He's my favorite coach of all time. Coach Masters come to me and he says to me, my sophomore year, he says, you're going to be starting on both sides of the ball. Do you want to be one of the top 50 players in the country? And of course, any kid at that age, I'm like, yeah, I'm 15 years old, 16 years old.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's like, he literally looked me in the eye. He said, keep doing your part on the field and in the classroom, and I'll take care of everything else. And my junior year, man, I was like, it was crazy. Like it went from University of Cincinnati, Ohio State, Toledo, Miami of Ohio. And I went out and had a great year, and I made, all state as a kick returner and all Southwestern district, all this and all that. And I start running from the phone calls in the evening. Coach Masters had everybody on the horn calling. Man. And
I remember that was some.
He literally was like, "You do your part, and I'll do my part."
For sure.
The rest was history.
Yeah, that's one of those things, man. I just remember him having such a good presence in the football arena. Our school was blessed to have a guy like Pat Masters, and I seen him probably about 5 or 6 years ago and said hello to him. But I just, when we were that young, we didn't know the magnitude of what he was actually doing. But he was doing some great things by getting people at major universities like yourself, Andy McCullough,
Derek Shepard,
Eric Boykin.
Like, think about that. He in the inner city of Dayton, Ohio.
Yes.
Eric Boykin was the #1 quarterback in the country.
Nation. Yes, sir.
Think about that.
Yes.
But most people don't know we ain't had many resources.
No, sir. No, sir.
And so that's why I tell people all the time, like, the NFL you can nominate a high school coach for coach of the year. And it was like my second or third year. And they sit the paperwork on your chair in the locker room. And I was like, I'm nominating Coach Master. And he got the information because they don't know.
Right.
And then, they let him know, like, you've been nominated. Mm-hmm. And man, he called me, he was crying. He was like, you never know how you impact the person. You got to do a write up on them. And I was just like, man, Coach Masters is like, honestly, for me, because I didn't grow up with a dad. Like he was the greatest man that I grew up around.
Absolutely,
like, man. He'll deny it, but I'll say he had a lot to do with my success just by believing in me.
Of course, for sure.
In football, because I'm telling you, Los, I literally thought, like, I'm a basketball player
no doubt.
playing football.
Man, I remember now. We was right there. Yeah. I want you to talk about that. Talk about our basketball life. How did that go?
Man, so when I look back on it now, after, coaching and being around NBA guys and being around WNBA girls, man, we were just so freaking athletic. Mm-hmm. And basketball in Dayton, Ohio, people don't realize how much of a thing it is. Like, you got yourself, you got Daquan Cook, you got Norris Cole, you got Ryan Harper, mm-hmm. you got, there's a rich history of basketball. And so it's like a way of life. I think, most people look at the state of Ohio and they automatically think football, because we do have a rich football history. But I think in the city of Dayton, I honestly believe basketball is more important. Like, absolutely. I think, you going out averaging 30, then Andy averaging 30, and mm-hmm. it was just my time. Like, I felt like I was next. And so, just like when you go to college and you see this freshman, this senior or junior, and you're a freshman and you see him getting busy. When I was a freshman and sophomore, I saw you putting in work. Then I saw Andy putting in work. I saw Sean putting in work. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I just felt like, and before you, Jamie Skelton putting in work.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'm next. Like, and I had the, Larry Stevens and those guys. I talked to Larry and Shawnee Mack. I talked to them almost every other day.
Yes, sir.
And, they jokingly say, man, you was a gunner. I'm like, I wasn't. I will say I shot a lot.
Right.
But the guys before me that was the best player shot a lot
That's
too.
What I was about to ask you. If you shot a lot, what did I do?
Right. At least, my senior year, over the last 12 games, I averaged like 32.3. I had like a straight 40-point game. I remember one of the headlines says, I actually posted on Instagram about a year ago. One of the headlines says, Price scores 30 again. That's like 5 straight. I had like 36, 12, and 8. And,
I was hearing about it. Our years in school, our years in college. I was hearing about it.
Yeah.
Los,
honestly, I was just like, Man, it's just, man, it was my time. Like it was my time to hold on to the lineage, and you guys had already set the stage
For sure.
It was I had to carry on that.
No
and
doubt
so
about it.
just for the guys that come after me, they understand Meadowdale. We got some pride on this hardwood.
No doubt about it. And then football snatched you up. Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so.
Yes.
Like, even Andy, rightfully so. Derek Shepard, like, the guys that got the shot at the big-time college in football and was able to go to the NFL and have some, some good, solid production. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Man. That was cool.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to talk about that because those are our growing years. So talk to me about this, man. You was able to go to Tennessee, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Being at Tennessee, I know everybody always asks you, like, what was it really like catching passes on a daily from Peyton Manning? How was that, man?
So I tell people this story. Me and Peyton just actually got through texting because this guy told me a little story on the golf course today about Peyton. And so I texted him about it. Peyton's like, that's not true. I said, I didn't think it was true. Guys love to just tell stories.
Right.
So, man, I always tell people this about Peyton. I said, I went to Tennessee as an elite athlete. I don't think you can go to a place like Tennessee with the talent pool that they pull in every year still to this day and not be at least an elite athlete at what you do.
Yes.
What I learned from Peyton is to become an elite student of the game. Because I was just beating guys in high school, so I was just better than them. Like it was just like in football and basketball, when I think about it, I did put in work on the side, ball handling in basketball, football, cone drills, running routes, and doing all that. But what Peyton taught me is, all right, examine everything before the ball is snapped. Take a mental picture of, okay, what are the safeties doing? What corners, the corner over you, is he shading inside? Is he shading outside? Is it a 3 shell? I know I'm getting too deep, but is it a 3 shell, 2 shell, 4 shell?
I love
What's the shell? Like, you can almost dictate how you're going to run your route by taking a mental picture before you ever get into your route as you get into the line of scrimmage. And so Peyton taught me that, which helped me become a better football player because, like I said before, when I went to Tennessee, the guy line up. It's high school. Like, I'm gonna beat you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And so you can't do that when you're playing in the SEC. You can't do that when your classmate on the other side is Champ Bailey and Fernando Bryan and Corey Che, all these first and second round corners, and Florida got Fred Weary. Like, you got all these guys, and then we ain't even talking about the front seven that's beating down your quarterback's back.
Absolutely.
As you're getting into your route, like, everything gotta happen in 3 seconds. And so Peyton helped me become a student of the game. And then as far as on the field, he made it easy. Like,
absolutely.
The ball, like, you get in and out of your breaks, the ball gonna be there. You just got to put your palms up and catch it. And so, man, Peyton was like just a good dude too. Sir. That's what people don't realize, that I tell people all the time. He's just a solid guy. Like, he is that guy you see on TV having a good time that you can have a beer with. That's who he is. He actually sent my daughter his Indianapolis Colts jersey and his Tennessee jersey for her 16th birthday a couple years ago.
Really?
That's, that tells you what type of guy he is.
For sure. Well, I tell you what, man, y'all had a great run at Tennessee. And I was always proud to walk around like, my guys, Andy McCulley, Peerless Price, they catching them from Peyton Manning every day, man. And that was just a pleasure, man, to watch and see the work that we put in high school for you guys to land there and be at that level. Woo.
Yeah.
That was off the hook.
Yeah, because I just feel like where we come from, I actually got into an argument one day with Ray Buchanan. And I've been an argument. Ray liked to say, from Chicago, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I said, I'm from Dayton. I said, per capita, I bet, like, we hear about Chicago, but per capita, I would say we got more impoverished people and we got more people that don't make it out per capita.
Yeah.
We hear about Chicago because it's a much bigger major city in the United States. But And so we start pulling up the numbers, and I was right. And, because we know so many great athletes that from our city that don't make it out. You know what I'm saying?
God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what it makes me do? Peerless, seriously, man. It makes me want to go to Dayton with the camera and with the mic and go pull these cats out and let the world know. I talk about that all the time to people. And you know what? I think I'm going to do it. Because I feel like it's so many hidden jewels. And we talking about people that really put in work. Obviously not playing now.
Right.
You walk up to a rest his soul, Dwight Anderson. If you walked up to him right now, you don't understand the magnitude of what this dude has done for basketball, let alone Dayton, Ohio.
That's right.
There's so many people like that, man. So
many.
Many.
It's so many elite athletes, and they just don't circumstances, and they just don't get an opportunity. That's why I always say, like, I was blessed to have Coach Masters because, you grow up impoverished and you come home sometimes and the light's not on and the water's not working.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, you can become discouraged, but he encouraged me from day one. I'm telling you, my sophomore year when he laid that on me, and I was like, I just wasn't gonna fail him.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
That brings me to this question. That's good. What does success coming from Dayton? What does success really mean to you? Like being able to make it out of the, I don't want to call it the slums, but what you just described, we all went through. No lights, no water, blah, blah, blah. It's like, man, you can label it as the slums. So
yeah, for sure.
What does success look like coming out of that situation with you?
You have never heard anyone come in and actually guarantee a bucket off the bounce from half court. H3 energetic CMOS. That's what does it, dog. All right, don't try this at home and don't say I didn't tell you. Y'all know me. Off the bounce! Oh!
Oh, I love this question because it's easy for me. So I'm the first person in my immediate family to graduate high school. So my mom didn't graduate high school. My older brother didn't graduate high school. So for success for me was graduating high school and being the first one to go to college, right? And so when I measured that success, as each step was going, I was like, all right, so I did that. I'm never going back to being impoverished. Like so football, basketball, because honestly, my freshman year at Tennessee, I still hadn't really given up basketball. So, I remember my senior year, our school, remember we had the school newspaper at Meadowdale, and Billy Lido, I want to say, she was, and she did an interview with me, and basically it was just like, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be the first person to play in the NFL and the NBA. If I don't do that, I want to be a lawyer. And so for me, success was, all right, graduate high school, get a college degree, and never go back to an impoverished lifestyle, but change the family dynamic. And I did that because my three sisters that are younger than me, all of them graduated high school after me. All of them got college degrees. One of them got a law degree. The other two have master's degrees.
Yes, sir.
And so that's success for me when I change the family dynamic, because anyone before me, they were telling me, you're not going to make it. You're not going to graduate high school. You're going to come out, you're going to sell drugs like everybody else in your family, or you're going to be on drugs like everybody else in your family. The ones that sold drugs in my family were selling it to other family members. And that never, in my brain, that's just, for lack of, that's effed up. You're selling it, and your number one customers are family members, and then they're going downstairs in the basement and smoking the crack. It's just, in my brain, Los, it's just, none of it made sense.
Man,
it's just like, It's the blind leading the blind. Yeah, you making money, but you making money destroying one of your loved ones' lives. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, how can that make sense to you? It never made sense to me. And so, you know, people be like, man, you don't come back to dating a lot. I said, I come back, I just don't be in the streets when I come back.
Of course.
You ain't gonna know I'm back. Like, because dating for me is a lot different than dating for a lot of people. My dating is what I lived through. I was broke, destitute, trying to figure out life as a young man. And honestly, I tell people this, since my sophomore, junior year, I was buying everything for myself. Like, I provided for myself. And so, you know, yeah, man. So that's success for me. Now, the NFL and making it pro in 2002, being a Pro Bowler and all that, that's individual success in my sport. But for success for me was changing my family dynamic, bro.
And that's such a great way to put it. And it's so it's such a mirrored thought and process. When you say something like that, like I can hang on to every word, because you and I both know the backgrounds are similar, but we also know we got a lot of partners that came from the same spot in the same situation. We grew up in one of the craziest epidemics in the world, and that's the crack era. You know, you had people, moms, dad, like, you know, everybody was a product of the environment in some type of way. And you just described our life as athletes, period. You know, in 3-4 sentences, you just described our whole entire life. And it's interesting the way you talk about the reasoning for not being in the street when you come back to Dayton, because that's also something very serious, man. You've had some trauma mentally that has gone on that you felt that you've overcome, and I can say the same thing for myself. I can. So I really feel that. I do.
Right. Yeah, man. It's just, you know, people. So, like, one of the main reasons I love Atlanta, right? People think about Atlanta and they say it's the Black Mecca, and we got. One thing I love about Atlanta is I can go somewhere, right? And I'm usually one of the successful people. I'm not the most successful person in the room. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like, I like that. Like, I like to just fit in. Like, I'm not one of these athletes or former athletes that you got to stroke my ego and tell me I'm the greatest. And I just want to go to have a nice dinner at a nice steakhouse, and I want a nice bottle of wine. It's probably gonna be pretty expensive, but you know, I don't care. Like, you know, I just feel like when I'm in Dayton, and especially like if people know I'm coming, you know, I just don't. I don't like that. Like, my vision of Dayton is I need to get in. I need to be low key. I need to go see the family and get back in the house. You know,
of course,
before dark or whatnot. Just because, man. Yeah, and it's not anything about I feel unsafe. It's just like you said. Like, there's a lot of when I left Dayton at 18 and never came back. Think about that, and then you think those 18 years that I spent there. Honestly, when I look back on it, they were the toughest of my life. And so, yeah, man. I've come to grips with people say, people say, well, you know, your parents or they were doing your dad, and I don't call him a dad, but the guy that fathered you, he was doing the best he could. No, he wasn't. Like, I've come to grips through counseling and talking to people. No, he wasn't. Because if he was doing the best, it's okay to say, all right, your best wasn't good enough. I can say that now as I've grown in age, you know, through a lot of counseling and stuff. Then if that was the best you could do, then your best wasn't good enough. I would never father kids and leave the kids to think for themselves, pretty much. Like, that's not what being a man is about. And so all that plays in my brain when I go back to Dayton as well.
That's tough. That's tough, and that's real, though. That's a real conversation. You know what I often struggle with, and I know you know this, but, you know, when you talk about it, like, you forgot where you came from, or you don't want to get a city love, or this or that. Well, see, when you describe what you're talking about, the first 16 years of your life where you have that type of traumatization in your body and your mind and your soul, a person can't feel that. They can't.
Right.
They can't feel they can't feel that. They can just look at the bigger picture, the outside layer, and say, you know what? Yeah, you know, you ain't showing love. You don't holler at people when you come home. You don't do this. But at the same time, man, if they really understood the magnitude of what you're talking about, most of those people don't have no idea what it's like to, you know, not have lights, or have a mother or father on crack cocaine, or, you know, most people don't know that. So,
no,
you know,
and that's good you put it that way, because here's the thing. I'm proud. Like I'm from Dayton. Like,
me too, BYT, for sure.
I'm from Dayton. I love Dayton.
Yeah.
Dayton honestly laid the foundation. I don't think I could be who I am today if I wasn't from Dayton.
It made us, man. It made us. Yes.
Yeah. And the people that I fool with in Dayton, like I was just there. I've been there like 2 or 3 times since October of last year. Like Sean McCullough knows.
Of course.
Larry Steven knows. Carlos Crawford knows. My people know.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. I'll be in the city. This is where I'm staying. What we got? Sean, like, let's just kick it at my crib. Go to Sean's crib, kick it at Sean's crib. That's how it is. My people.
That's real. You know what's crazy? This is some real stuff, man. But we need like 45 podcasts to talk about everything. Like we'll stay on this dating subject the whole time.
Yes, for sure.
So we gotta move to the next, man. But listen, I want to talk about this, man. Obviously, so proud of you, so ecstatic that you was able to make it to that level. Tell me about the draft. Tell me about draft night. It's time to go to the NFL. You done everything, you know, that you needed to do to get there. How was that, man?
Man, so honestly, I planned to leave the year before that because there was Peyton's last year, and so I was kind of, and then I you know, you go like you go through things. And I broke my leg in the spring game going through my junior year. And so, honestly, I had a pretty good junior year, but I didn't have the type of junior year that I thought I could have. And so they were talking about a 3rd or 4th round pick. And so I decided to come back. And so coming back actually ended up being one of the greatest things that I ever done.
Wow, that's good. That's good information, because some people, it go the other way. It goes the other way, you know. Right. So that's good. But go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
So I ended up coming back, and man, I had one of the greatest. A lot of fans call me the greatest playmaker in Tennessee football history. And so I just had one of those years, man. 65 catches, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, receiving another one on kick return, and it's just like, you know, MVP of the SEC championship game,
yes, sir.
MVP of the national championship game.
Yes, sir.
and so going into the draft after you've accomplished all that, to me, in the hardest conference in the country, against the best players in the country, and then you take all these, you go to the combine in Indianapolis, you know all about Indy.
Of course.
And so you go to the combine, and then you do the interviews, and that you see Mel Kiper's report. I think I posted a few weeks ago. Mel Kiper had me as like 15th ranked player in the draft. So automatically your brain is like, all right, you're gonna be a 1st round pick.
For sure.
Like you're gonna like. So it was me, Torrey Holt, David Boston, who's everybody had the top 3 receivers, and so Torrey Holt was always 1, and David Boston. You could say they were 1A and 1B because some teams like David Boston because he was bigger than T. Holt.
Of course,
but. You know, I was always 3rd on most draft rankings, which still put me in the top 15 to 20. But on draft night, man, I saw 2 receivers. I saw the kid from Louisiana Tech, Troy Edwards. So Pittsburgh and the Jets have been telling me they were going to draft me. I was there, and they both was picking in the teams. Well, Pittsburgh drafted Troy Edwards, and then the Jets actually drafted a quarterback. No, the Jets draft. I don't even remember who the Jets drafted, but anyway, so I end up sliding to the second round, and so draft night for me was, man, I wasn't happy. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was happy to be drafted. I became an instant millionaire with the contract or whatever, but man, I was mad. I'll be honest with you.
I already know you went like 53rd, right?
Yep, 53rd.
Yeah. I remember. And, we was looking, we was watching. You know that.
Yeah. And so, I was mad. And I had draft night. Everybody's at my crib in Dayton, and I ain't even go to the draft, although they were saying I was going to be a first rounder. I just wanted to spend it with the fam.
Of course. Yeah.
And but I was mad. Like I was mad. Like I was like, okay. And so honestly, I went down. I wanted to prove that. Honestly, I was better than a couple guys that they had drafted before me, and I think I did that in my career. So
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So draft night, most people think just because you got drafted, you drafted pretty high because you still a second round pick. You still you're one of the top 40 to 60 players in the country.
100%.
Right?
Yes.
But I just felt like that was honestly, I just felt like it was disrespectful.
Right. Now that's that DYT for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like in my brain, no knock on Troy Edwards. I ended up having a better career than him, but I just felt like they drafted Troy Edwards off one game. I will give him that. He had like 400. He went to Louisiana Tech. You see, I still remember all this.
Of course, yes, we all do.
And he set the NCAA record for receiving yards in the game. He had 400 receiving yards in one game, and I think that's why they I think that was like that set him over the edge when they saw him do that.
For sure, I got you. That makes sense. That makes sense.
So yeah, I didn't like that. No. So draft night really wasn't a happy night.
No doubt.
I was ready to go. I was ready to hit the weight room and go run routes that night.
Man, you know what's crazy, Peerless, is that could sound like an odd, weird story, but if you're around professional sports, that's a common story on the NBA side and WNBA side. Like people, I can remember so many different. Hell, me. Like, my name didn't get called. What's up? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I just want to say that because, again, when you get people that don't really know the story, you don't know the inside. That's why I love for people like yourself to come on and tell what really happened. It's so many people running around Dayton in the world talking about Peerless Price story, but don't really know what happened and how it happened.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. Yes.
That's huge. Mm-hmm. That's huge. I wanted to go back to this. I kind of skipped and went to the NFL. I wanted to talk about the 79-yard TD in the national championship game. Now, you want to talk about Dayton standing up. Man, I can just remember that so vivid, man. Talk about that. Let me know what happened. How did you feel in that moment, man?
Man, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now.
Yes, sir.
So, interesting week. I don't think people really understand what goes into like the national championship game week and how much time you spend with the other team. Like you spend a lot because it's a lot of press.
Yes.
And then there's like events outside of press that you have to go to, and both teams have to show up.
Yeah, intertwined.
So you're seeing those guys a lot.
Yes.
And they're deep, and they just kept talking about how great their defensive backs were, and they kept saying how they reminded them of Deion Sanders and Terrell Buckley. And honestly, Deion Sanders and Terrell Buckley, T-Buck is a friend now. He lives locally. But I just felt like, again, I told you, I was a nerd for football. So I was like, no, those guys are not that good.
Right.
But they walked around like that. Like, if you saw them, you would have thought it was Deion Sanders and Terrell Buckley reincarnated at Florida State. And so, man, I just honestly, like the second play of the game, I ran a post corner route and picked up like 40-some yards, right? Then earlier in that game, I caught like a 70-yard bomb and got tackled on like the 2-yard line. I was hot. Yeah. And already, so before that, we go in the huddle and T. Martin, who is the quarterback, that's my dog. T. Martin called 69 all go, and he gave me that look. 69 all go, so now you basically tell me I can be an athlete and just run by these jokers that I don't think they're good as everybody's saying. Like, we've been killing them with intermediate stuff and, outbreaking stuff, and now I just get to run past this joker.
Yeah.
And they just tackled me earlier in the game on like the 2-yard line. I owe these jokers. So man, he called 69 all go, and he gave me that look, and I knew all I had to do was get off the line, and they were in press coverage. And that's a lot of fans don't understand this. For a wide receiver, it's easier to run a go route when the DB's in press coverage versus off, because off, a lot of things come into play. You got to press the technique, you got to stack them, you got to stick them. It's a lot of stuff that goes into when he playing off. But when he pressed and he in man, it's just you against him. I'm taking my chances on me.
Of course.
And I'm glad, T did, and he threw it up, man. And the ball felt like it was in the air for 10 minutes, And I can feel him getting closer, so I just stuck him on my back, put my hands out, and dropped it. T threw a perfect ball, dropped it right in my bread basket. And the minute I caught it, if you watch the replay of it, I looked back like 5 times because I remember they had a safety that was by Sean Key. He the one that tackled me, and I kept looking. I wasn't even looking because it was Mario Edwards, the corner. Who actually, he was a 2nd round pick too, but he was a corner, and I knew he wasn't gonna catch me. I looked back like 5 times looking for Sean Key, like, this joke ain't gonna catch me this time. We taking this to the house. We're gonna get out of here and get these rings.
Let's go.
And we gonna party. And so I took it to the crib, and when I looked, you see me, I put my hand on my hip and I hand the ball to the ref, and I just exhale. Because I look back on the previous 3 years with Peyton, and I felt like we probably should have won about 2 of those. We only lost 4 games in 4 years, but back then, if you lost a game, you was out of the national championship hunt.
Absolutely.
And
that's
so,
real.
Yeah, so all of that replays as I'm handing the ball to the ref, and I just look over the sideline and I see everybody going nuts. And then that's when the Dayton came out, when I'm going to the sideline, start acting a nut. But yeah, man, I think it's, a lot of folks like to talk about when they make their first pro touchdown, their first pro catch. But for me, that moment is probably the best moment I've ever had in sports.
That's real. I love that. Let me ask you this. In talking to youngsters, that's coming from Dayton and all type of cities that's like Dayton around the United States of America, what will be your message, man? Because you got a heck of a story, and to listen to the perseverance, the focus level, what would be your message to somebody coming out of the inner city like a Meadowdale like we did?
Oh, that's easy, Lois.
What's up?
You are the author of the dictionary that defines you. Like your circumstances. So here's another life lesson I tell young people. You know the worst thing God ever did?
What's that?
And he don't allow people to choose their parents, because some of these parents we just wouldn't choose, right? And some of these parents shouldn't be parenting young people. And so with that being said, your heart's still beating, you're getting up every day. You can define you. Your circumstances shouldn't define you. I'm a great example of that. You're a great example of that. And some people gonna grow up like Steph Curry. Some people gonna grow up like Peerless Price. Some people, did LeBron James grow up like Steph Curry? No. But we both can say they're 2 of the greatest ever, right?
Of course.
And so you, as an individual, God has given you a mind, a heart, and dreams to chase. And so you don't have to be a victim of your circumstances. And I say the word victim on purpose, because if you allow that to happen, you are being victimized. And so don't allow it to happen. Don't let it infest your brain. Don't let it infest your heart. You are the author of the dictionary that defines you. And I'm telling you right now, you can start in the dugout, and that joker over there can start on third base, but you can get to home. You can get around them bases before that joker to start on third base if you got what it takes.
Limit distractions, block out the noise.
Yeah, like they gonna tell you. Like you go out there and make a play, like, oh my God, Carlos Knox is the best. You see he hit that 3-pointer from half court. Peerless Price, you see that he just dunked in the game, and then a month ago he just had 3 touchdowns against Dunbar and Patterson. Oh my God. No, like that's a setup. Like I truly believe that's a setup because they telling you how good you are to bring you down. And so, you know, I always say to be an elite athlete, you gotta have athletic arrogance, right? Like once you step on the field, you step on the court, you step on the pitch in soccer, you gotta believe that you're the best player on the court, the field, the pitch. Like if you don't believe that, then you've already failed yourself.
100%.
But when you walk off that field, be humble enough to know you still gotta put in work because the guy that you just kicked their butt, that joker's gonna put in work because he don't want to get his butt beat no more. She don't want to get her butt beat no more. And so there's a fine line between I am the best, but I still got to work to be the best. And so I think once you master that, that's when you become great.
Of course. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The author of the dictionary that defines you.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's that simple.
It makes sense.
Because why didn't you use it why didn't you use your situation that you grew up in as a crutch? Because it's a crutch if you use it.
Of course.
You know?
It's identical to what you're saying, to be honest. And when you think about it, if you're reversing the question and asking me, you know, I was looking at so many different things that, like you said, didn't make sense to me. Like I didn't understand how when you get drunk, you are dizzy, you falling, you breaking stuff, you throwing up in the toilet, you doing all of this. I'm talking about as a young kid watching this.
Yes.
And now it's time to lay in the bed the rest of the day all day and maybe have to call the ambulance or, you know, it was so many different things. I didn't see how that made sense to want to do that and be that. Then you got cats like Mr. Gates, the Gates League, that up with hope, down with dope. You know, just a whole lot of different things that allowed you to see it differently, man. I didn't understand how cats would want to, you know, smoke weed and get high and do all of this and then look and be a certain way. You can't knock me. You can't knock me for just feeling different about that. I just didn't.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't never want to do that or be that.
Right. Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense to me. Like you said, it didn't make sense.
So, you know, Lowe's, it's funny you say that about being drunk, right? You know, the first time I had an alcoholic drink was my 30th birthday. Yeah, I just, like you said, it's kind of exactly what you said. I saw what it did to people in my family. And then even once you go to college and you see these guys and so I'll be the designated driver, dog.
Absolutely.
Like I'll go out, but that makes no sense to me. Like it's exactly verbatim what you said.
Of course.
I'm about to go get towed up. My head gonna hurt. I'm gonna throw up.
Yes.
I'm probably not gonna remember the night. Now I kind of want to remember every night that I partake in.
Because honestly, we're just saying a few things that can happen. We ain't talking about the wrecks. We ain't talking about the accidental pregnancies.
The teammates I didn't have that didn't hit folks and killed. Did
you hear what I said? The accidental pregnancies.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I won't bruh.
Who's going to go through that? That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I never. Yeah, you're right. Like I never. And you know. You would think that honestly for us it would be the exact opposite since that's what we saw and that's what but it goes back to what I tell young people. You are the author that defines you. You are the author of the dictionary that defines you. Because think about it. if you saw what it did to this person that you're close with and this person that's like alcohol, weed, crack, cocaine, whatever the vice was, right? And then you wake up one day and you decide you're going to do that. That was an individual decision. Maybe there was some influence, but you still made that decision. That is an adult decision that you're making.
Absolutely.
And so, and I don't care, like you make those decisions to me, I don't care if you're 14 years old. I still call them adult decisions.
For sure.
Because the government has told us you have to be a certain age to partake in those activities, right? And so it's usually you have to be of adult age. And so, yeah, man, like you are the author of the dictionary that defines you. You made that decision. You got to live with the consequences. Choices, decisions, consequences.
That is powerful. Powerful.
Yeah.
P, listen, we have a motto here. You know, a Starstruck podcast. A Starstruck podcast has come to life for me. It has really been a platform that has exploded, and everybody is really interested in, you know, coming on and talking about things at a high level to get people to understand exactly what, you know, what's needed to be resilient in areas and how to get over. And we talking about it coming from Dayton. We're talking about, you know, being able to get through, you know, Lord knows our practices, our workouts, everything that we done to be a high level athlete. You know, it is what it is. It's just what it is. But this Starstruck podcast, it's a star being struck by a circumstance, you know, that you then have to be resilient to get over. I definitely want you to share a starstruck moment in your life, just so, you know, people can understand and the audience can have a valuable resource when it comes to understanding it. Yeah, man. Honestly, it was my going into my junior year at Tennessee. Again, I told you, like I had planned to leave. Like it wasn't no question about it. And I honestly believe that was God interfering. Like you feeling yourself. You done went out here with Peyton Manning, with Leonard Little and Al Wilson and all these Tennessee greats, and like you done made a name for yourself. And I honestly, Los, I was feeling, when I say feeling myself, like, because when I look back on going to Tennessee, a lot of the papers in Ohio was saying I was making a mistake because they had signed 4 of the top receivers in the country the year prior to me going, because they all wanted to play with Peyton. You know, they were all in Marcus Nash, Maurice Staley. They were like the number 1 and number 2 receivers in the country. And then you had Greg Kyler from Jersey running like a 4-1. And even my high school teammate, Andy McCullough, like they had all signed 4 receivers. And usually you don't get 4 receivers in the class. But so I go in there as a freshman. They give me number 37 and say, you're going to play DB, right? And I'm like, what? Like, y'all told me I was going to be a receiver, but whatever. So anyway, I end up showing them that I was a receiver, and going into my sophomore year, all these 5-star recruits, you know, I was one too. I ain't gonna downplay that, but all the people that said I wasn't going to play. And so I ended up starting over all of them pretty much my sophomore year, and having I would say a sophomore year that not many people outside the building expected. And I kind of blew up. And going into my junior year, I was feeling myself, like proving this guy transferring now, prove y'all all wrong. And in the orange and white game, our spring game, I had 3 catches, 147 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah. That's tough.
I'm in the end zone dancing, about to dance, and got the ball out. And the dude that I just beat on the touchdown, Kevin Horn, man, he was mad. Because, you know, and he went to slap the ball out of my hand. And when he snapped the ball out, he crashed into my leg and snapped it in 2. And played 8 screws in my leg later. Emergency surgery. The bottom of my leg, Los, was about this big. I looked down. It was so big they had to cut the shoe off. They couldn't even take it off. And I went to surgery, got a plate and 8 screws in there to this day. And, man, in that moment, you know, I just felt like, remember I said you got to have athletic arrogance, but once you still have to be humble, you know. And I thought in that moment, you know, God was like, bro, I can take this all away from you.
Yeah, you're doing too much. Yeah.
Yeah, like you doing too much. Yeah. Like you clowning off the field. You're doing this. You're living wrong. You're doing that. And in surgery, out of surgery, I had a rough surgery. Then I, come out of surgery, find out I'm allergic to Percocet and hydrocodone. So I can't even take the stuff that knocks you out and gets you through the pain. Mm-hmm. And so that starstruck moment for me was just like, all this can be taken away in an instant, no matter how good you are, no matter. And they just did a write-up about me and Peyton in GQ magazine. It was crazy. Like, I'm telling you, Los, I was feeling myself.
Right. I understand.
And so, and they said I was going to be out 12 to 16 months. And I was, now I end up coming back in 4.5. And that's why I think my junior year wasn't as great as it should have been. Even though it still was better than my sophomore year, but it still wasn't as good as I was expecting coming off of that sophomore year, because I spent half the year pretty much rehabbing, trying to get back. And it wasn't until like mid-season that I felt like myself. And so, in that instant, in that moment through that season of trial and questioning God and all that, it was just like, man, like, bro, you probably shouldn't have been dancing. It's an orange and white game with your teammates.
Exactly.
You dancing, got the ball in the guy's face. The guy gets mad, trying to slap it out of his hand. And now everybody's mad. Like, everybody was mad at him.
Of course.
But self-reflection moment for me, it was just like, that was wrong.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Everything about the way I was going about everything. And I was literally like, I'm leaving because Peyton leaving. I don't want to play with the backup quarterback. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you thinking now T. Martin, one of my best friends, I tell people all the time, he's probably my favorite quarterback to play with. Like when T.O. said about Romo when he was crying, that's my quarterback. And so right. Man. Yeah, like, it's just like literally like I was like, when I look back on all that, it was just like, man, that in a nutshell is my starstruck moment. Like, realizing that, bruh, you got to stay humble. You got to, like, you can't live this way. You can't do that and expect good to happen.
Of course.
You
know what? Like, it's so important to hear stories like that. But one of the things I want you to follow up with, we talk about that dark place, that injury takes you. You know what I mean? You and I both experienced it. And it's like, it's a place that don't nobody really talk about, because it's like kind of spooky a little bit, but at the same time, it's real. And it's a place of darkness. It's depression. It's, uncertainty. You start to question yourself. Will I be the same player? I got financial mentality things on my mind that I'm going to take care of my like, it's so many different things that comes into play. And again, that's why I love to have this conversation. When that happened to you, how did you get through it? What was your resilience tactic when those things hit? And did you ever feel a sense of depression?
Yes. So initially, like, when the injury happened and they were like, you got to have surgery. And I'm like your brain, like, it happens all so fast. And I was like, what? Like, literally from the field to surgery, had surgery, come out of surgery. And, initially I'm like, okay, I'm going to be back. I'll be ready to go by the season. And when that joker said 12 to 16 months, and then he started explaining that one of my teammates, Shane Begnaud, what up, Shane? But he's like, Shane Begnaud just went through the same type injury. And if you try to come back fast, you can break the screw. And Shane ended up breaking the screw. So you hear all that. And that's when, for me, the depression started, because they basically was like, you probably won't be putting pressure on your leg and, for 90 days. So this is April, like, the season starting in August. So May, June, July. So you telling me I'm basically gonna have a month, like, in my brain, that's what I'm computing. And that's when the depression started. And it's just like, even once I got through that, and then I had to go back to the hospital because I got sick off the meds. And it was just like, like, are you ever gonna be the same?
Of course.
And then when I went back to the field, and I remember the first day, we were right outside the complex on the field, and we ended the session because I caught a bomb for Peyton, right? and everybody was going crazy. Teammates, everybody going crazy. Like, I can't believe you're running. They said 12, 16 months. It's been like 4. And but Los, I was putting in. Say, you go in for rehab, and they were like, you got an hour session. I was putting in 6 to 8 hours. In Tennessee, I was the first person. Tennessee bought the Aquasizer, the underwater treadmill, for me.
Wow.
And so I was the first person that ever got to use that. And I was in there running zero gravity in the Aquasizer. Man, I was putting in 6 to 8 hours of rehab.
Yes,
and
sir.
It was just one of those situations. You want to prove people wrong, but you also want to prove to yourself that you still could do it. Still play. Because I was on crutches in a boot for 3 months. And so, but once I got back to playing, I watched film and I could see a limp. Like, I could see a noticeable limp. And, they wasn't, my teammates wasn't saying much about it. It's one of those things like, he back, but he ain't back.
Right.
And so that's when the self-doubt even got worse for me, because, you work so hard to get back. But I don't think that people, when they never had injuries or go through injuries, and you're playing at a high level, right? When you're playing at a high level and you get hurt, you don't think, in your brain, you think you're going to come back and be the same, even when it's day one.
Of course.
like that's the ignorance. But I think to be an elite athlete, you got to have some of that ignorance in your brain. And so when I came back, I was like literally not the same. And I remember going the very first game, and Coach Washington called me in. He called me and the 2 other receivers in that have been alternating as starters at my position. And he was like, what am I going to do? I didn't expect you to be back. You 2 have had phenomenal summers. Peerless, you missed most of the summer. And I was just like, basically, you just tell us. And then he looked at those 2 guys. He said, what do y'all think you should do? And both of them was like, I think you should start Peerless.
Wow.
I was like,
yeah.
Like, I love the respect, but I was thinking like, man, I am not who I was,
Of course.
I still had that self-doubt because I hadn't run without a limp. And I will tell you this, I spent probably the first 4 or 5 games still running with a limp. And it wasn't until, I'll tell you the exact time, we were playing Alabama. We play Alabama every year, the 3rd Saturday in October every year. I caught a little hitch from Peyton. I made a move on the safety. Man, took that thing about 50 yards and dove in the end zone. And the dude, like literally that broken right ankle, he tackled me and I stumbled in the end zone on it. And initially it was like, oh God, that hurt. And I was able to get up. I limped off. I just scored a touchdown. I limped off. And when I got to the sideline, it was like,
you was like, that don't really hurt. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
think about that. We're talking October 20-something, because we always played Alabama around my birthday.
Yep.
And so, but now we had been playing since August. And that was like the first game I felt like myself. And that go back early in the conversation when I told you I decided to come back. That was one of the reasons I decided to come back, because I was just like, man, I literally just played half the year, 7 of the 12 games, and I wasn't that good. Like in my brain, like
for sure.
I made a few plays here and there, and again, I had more yards and touchdowns and catches than I had my sophomore year. But my sophomore year, I was like, man, I was explosive. Like I felt like Jerry Rice every rap.
Right. Yeah.
Like the only reason I didn't, in my brain, like my sophomore year, I'm like, the only reason I didn't score is he threw it on that side. You know what I'm saying? Whereas my junior year, like you look at the numbers, you're like, his junior year was way better than his sophomore year. But mentally, I was like, nah, like I wasn't. Yeah, I was not. Even though the SEC championship game, I had 8 for 170 and 2 touchdowns, but that was in freaking December.
Yeah.
So like I said, once October rolled around, I started feeling like myself. But I wasn't ready mentally to make that next step, because I was still second guessing myself. Yeah. Like if it's an incomplete pass, I'm like, dang, did I get out of my break fast? Because Peyton all on timing. I'm like, did I get out of my break fast enough? And dang, was I this? Like, was I late on the sight of just? So mentally, I wasn't there, even though I was making plays as the season went on, but I wasn't. Like you said earlier, like, man, I don't think people realize what athletes go through when they get hurt and they have to come back. You know, they be like they expect you. And again, we expect it too, but really it's not that. It's not like that. Like, you got to get into games. You can't simulate a game.
Of course.
Like,
that's the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah. You know, you coaching at Notre Dame, you playing against freaking Stanford and South Carolina and Duke and, you know, NC State and UNC, and you try your hardest to simulate a game, but that anxiety, that energy, that heart racing, it's 72-72 with 5 seconds to go. You have no idea until you're in those situations how the player is going to react or how you going to react.
Of course.
And so
that's so real.
You know, you just can't simulate. As much as you try to, you can't.
So how would you say you got through it? Like, that's like listening to that, you know, obviously we know the meat and potatoes but seriously, like from the depression standpoint, from like, how would you really say you got through it? Was it somebody? Was it music? Was it, you know what I mean? You need something.
Oh, so I'm going to give you a couple things.
Okay.
I am a huge music guy.
Okay.
I can, especially in those times, I mean, you couldn't tell me I wasn't Tupac. Like,
all of us. Go ahead.
Tupac just took me to a place.
Yeah.
And Me Against the World, man. Like, that whole album, I can recite it. I can recite it verbatim from the first song to the last song.
Wow.
In that album. But I will also say this, man. I think, you know, there's a question that I ask athletes and I ask people. I asked them this. I said, Los, what do you think happens first? The confidence or the success? Like, do you think a player has to have confidence to be successful? Or do you think the success brings on the confidence?
Right. I got you. I got where
you see what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
And so I think with the music, and the prayer, and I think the success, man, like, I'm one that believes, like, I can walk on the field as confident as I want. Especially, I'll say this, especially as receiver is a dependent position. Like, the offensive line got to block, you got to beat the guy in front of you, and then you can do all that, but the quarterback read the other part of the field and threw it to the other receiver. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can do your job right, be confident as heck. You can beat your guy. It's usually 70 to 80 plays in a football game. I can beat my guy 70 of 80 plays. The quarterback never throw me the ball. You'll never know I beat him.
Of course. Yeah, right.
But I was confident, right? Now, what do you think is going to happen if that happens 4 games in a row to that confident guy?
You're going to lose it. You're going to lose your confidence.
Yes, that's right. And so I think for me, I got over it with the music, the prayer, and then seeing myself be successful in games.
Of course.
You know, like that second half of that season, Los, I really think they gave me MVP of the SEC championship game. And I don't say this to slight Peyton or nothing, because everybody know who he is. Heck, he know who he is.
Right.
But I had 8 for 170 and 2 touchdowns. Peyton only threw for like 302. So if one receiver and 3 touchdowns. So if one receiver had 170 and 2 touchdowns, you throw for 302 and 3 touchdowns. I think that receiver was responsible for 66% of your touchdowns and like, what is the number? It's like 60-some% of your passing yards. And so
right.
I really think, because my senior year, I had a great game. I had like 8 for 98 in a touchdown, and they gave me MVP. But I think it was because of the success in the previous SEC championship game.
Of course.
And so I think I got over that by Tupac, prayer, and having success on the field. Yeah.
That's good. And, you know, we all share those type of things too, man. That's why, again, if you listen to it from how I'm asking you the question, I'm asking you the question because this platform is a resource.
That's right.
So you got somebody coming and watching it, and they say, okay, so, I'm doing some of the same things Peerless is doing, but maybe I can add this, or maybe I can take away that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Yeah, and that's why I asked you that question, because I think some people will answer it differently. I think if we ask 20 people what happens first, the confidence or success, 10 are going to say the confidence and 10 going to say success. And I just think for me, because I play such a dependent position, it's got to be the success, because I can be confident as I'll get out at my position. But if he ain't throwing me the ball,
never give you the ball. Right.
How confident am I going to be?
That's a great
Whereas
point.
you playing point guard or quarterback, you control everything. You got the ball every possession. Like, then them people probably going to say the confidence, because I got to be confident where I'm going to throw this ball. I got to be confident. Lowe's coming off that double drag action. I kick in the ball. Or I don't like that. Between the legs, I go same hand, same leg, lay up, something like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I think it depends on your position in your sport.
That's real. I like that.
Yeah.
I definitely like that. And you can go on to say in life too. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, we talking athletically, but in life it's the same way. You have to be in that position to have the confidence or the success to understand exactly what that means. Now that's huge, man. That's big. I love that jewel. That's a jewel. Mental health, such a big subject these days. Athletically, personally, it's a big subject. I want your take. What's your take on mental health in today's society?
Man, it's huge. It's important. I think when we were growing up, they didn't care about it, because if you ever having a bad day and you tell a coach you're having a bad day, you're a chump.
You might have to run 20 sprints, 20 laps.
Yeah, we nah, bro.
Right. Right.
Real man don't do that. Real man don't do that. You being a wuss, but so I'll tell you this. So my daughter that's at Florida State, she's coming off an injury. She tore her ACL. Okay. And so again, she's accomplished. I always tell her, me, your sister was a D1 athlete, a full ride scholarship athlete. I was a D1 athlete. I said, but in our teen years, you accomplished more than anybody in the household. And so she's coming off the ACL, right? And the expectation again was like, for me, it was puzzling, because I was just like, bruh, like, she got cleared March the 12th. By March, I would say 28th, she's hearing rumblings like she's not the same, she's this and that. And I'm like, but I'm not to call somebody down there at Tallahassee. Like, I'm not that dad, but don't push me to doing this, bro.
Especially not my baby. No.
Yeah, and she's been out since January of 2025. Like, think about that. Of course she's not the same player. She got cleared 2 weeks ago. Like, again, it takes time. I just gave the story of how I literally had surgery in April. I didn't feel like myself until October of that same year.
Of course. And that's quick.
And so, and so we got her a mental health coach, and it's sports specific for performance. And it's just been great. And so I think with today's athlete, especially, it's so much that we didn't have to deal with social media. Like, when they do something great, it's probably posted on social media. And so they see all this stuff when they're doing great, but then when they're not, they go through an injury, or they having a bad run, whether it be a game or 2 games or 3 games, and the questions start, and then, they don't see their name on social media. They don't see their name mentioned as often as it used to be. And it can weigh on you. And so I think the mental health aspect of it, you just got somebody that you can talk to, you can let it out, and they just sit there and listen. And then they'll give you feedback on what they think. Like, okay, I don't think that is, like, I think that's something for an example, like if you have a kid or a player and they're struggling, and then you find out they broke up with their boyfriend or their girlfriend. You see what I'm saying? Like,
of course,
that stuff that we basically had to internalize, where I think nowadays these kids need an outlet because the boyfriend or girlfriend, they broke up with them on social media. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know what these kids are going through. And actually, my oldest daughter, she works in athletics at University of South Carolina, and she deals with a lot of that, and she's actually great at that. Like, a lot of the student athletes on campus, they come to her and they just sit on her couch and they just start talking to her. And she's a great resource for those kids because she's been a D1 athlete. She's 25 years old, so she can relate to the music they listen to, the culture as they call it. And man, I just think if they don't have those outlets, that's why we see more and more of these kids committing suicide and having self-doubt. And I just think as a young person, you got so much life to live. There shouldn't be any self-doubt. Like, you can have a bad day, you can have a bad week or a bad month, but that don't mean you have to have a bad year and a bad life.
Of course. That's so real.
Yeah.
So, like you said, just to piggyback off of that, mental health, you have to be in that space. You have to be in that space to where you're receptive to the resources. You understanding exactly what's the world situation is now and what's given. I mean, just think about it from a political standpoint. I mean, there's so many different things going on, like the COVID shot. It's so many different things. And like you said, the social media is so much. You have to be able to have a circle of people, or maybe a couple people, it doesn't matter, that can really get you on a page of getting educated and using your resources in a positive way to where you can understand how to navigate. Because mental health is real, and we all deal with, we deal with the athletes as well as our family members and friends. So it's deep. Yeah. It's deep.
Yeah, it's not. It's, when they first started talking about it, coming from our era, we're like, man, this joke is just soft.
Of course.
No, it's a different time.
Yeah, it is.
And everything is in your face. Like, everything is in your face. And it's just like, and we came up in an era where you don't talk about this household outside this household.
For
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And and I think that's a lot of our culture still to this day. And I think we got to get away from that, bro.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta, you don't want me to talk about this house outside this household. I'm gonna go crazy.
No
this
doubt
household
about
driving
it.
me crazy. And then when I tell y'all crazy, y'all say I'm crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I need an outlet.
That's so real. That's so real.
Yeah.
That's so important, man. That's so important. And then if you look at it from that standpoint, I think you can reach a lot more people, because that's what's happening for real in life now. Like the younger people watching social media, watching Netflix, these short and to the point stories, binge watching stuff. Everything is so quick and happening right in your face. So it's really important for you to be on point when it comes to that mental health piece. Peerless, man, I want to say this, man, because we haven't really got a chance to give each other flowers through our career. I mean, obviously you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, but I want to tell you, man, from Meadowdale, from Dayton public school system, from the city of Dayton, to walk around with Meadowdale Lion Pride, like it's names, it's names that come up. It's going to be a Jamie. If you're talking about Meadowdale High School, and the same with Dunbar, Colonel White, but if you're talking about Meadowdale High School, it's names that are going to come up, okay?
That's right.
You and I both know what those names are. But what I want to tell you is, friend to friend, man to man, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of the way you've navigated. I'm so proud of the the ability to overcome and be resilient in your situation to become something fabulous to your family, to your friends. And again, the reason why I want to say it's not for the camera, really, it's because, man, you were young when I was in school. You were, under us, but you was one of those guys that I knew from an athletic standpoint and mentally that you were going to be, able to hold your own no matter what happened. Basketball or football, But I just want to tell you that, friend to friend, man to man, I really appreciate what you poured into, the city, our school, your family, your friends, and the outstanding athlete and human being that you became, man. And I'm really proud of it. And I tell the world, Peerless Price from Dayton, Ohio, Meadowville High School. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So much love to you, my brother, on that.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Especially, like I said, coming from you, dog. Like, man, I tell you, Jamie Skelton, Carlos Knox, Eric Boykin, Derek Shepard, those guys, you and Skelton basketball, and then, Boykin and Shep and those guys in football, like that, those you guys were the standard.
Absolutely.
And so, man, to see you get up out and just persevere, like face adversity, find your lane, become who you are today.
Absolutely.
Like today, you on the sidelines at the Notre Dame, bro. Like,
yes, sir.
Like I know you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
But I don't think you realize that's Los Knox from Dayton, Ohio.
No doubt about it.
The guy that, to me, when you talk about the greatest hoopers that come out of Dayton, I know the Dunbar guys are gonna say Cook and and those guys and Tutu and those guys, but for me, Los Knox is the standard. I saw Los Knox the first person, him and Tutu the first two people. They were Steph Curry before Steph Curry. like when that joke come across half court, you better close out.
Of course.
I remember that, man, and boy, to define success from playing the sport,
yes, sir,
to training and coaching the sport, and just being a student of it, and pouring into the next generation of athletes. It's on the men's side, the women's side, man. You work with the best because you are the best, and and it's hard. It's hard to go from, honestly, it's hard to go from being an elite basketball player, football player, whatever it is, into being an elite coach. And I think you mastered both. And I can say guys like Magic Johnson couldn't even figure it out. Like he did it on the business side, but he tried to be a coach first. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so, because it takes a special mind to do the coaching part.
Of
you
course.
can know the game, but you got to be relatable to players, bro.
Absolutely.
And you mastered that on the men and women's side. And so I'm proud of you, brother. DYT, stand up.
Place in front of me, I'll be victorious. Straight up out the trenches where it's vicious, but it's glorious.